Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Zoom Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's taken from Canto 1, Chapter 18, and Text 11. We're very fortunate this morning to have Mother Gita, Gita Devi Dasi, ISKCON Atlanta, to have the Bhagavatam to talk to us about Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. And it's all yours. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahams Parivrajakacarya Stotra Shat Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद जद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंज राधा कुंज गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय समेत भक्त वृंद की जय निताई गौ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Glories to the assembled devotees,
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees,
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
All glories to Guru.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, Text number 11. Rishaya Uchuhu Sutta Jiva Samasamya Shashvati Vishadam Yashaha Yastvam Shamsasi Krishnasya Martyanam Amritam Hinaha. Rishaya Uchuhu Sutta Jiva Samasamya Shashvati Vishadam Yashaha Yastvam Shamsasi Krishnasya Martyanam Amritam Hinaha. Rishaya Uchuhu Sutta Jiva Samasamya Shashvati Vishadam Yashaha Yastvam Shamsvasi Krishnasya Martyanam Amritam Hinaha. Rishaya Uchuhu, the good sages said, Sutta, O Sutta Goswami, Jiva, we wish you life for Samaha, many years, Saumya, grave, Shashvatihi, eternal, Vishadam, particularly, Yashaha, in fame, Yahatvam, because you, Shamsasi, speaking nicely, Krishnasya, of Lord Sri Krishna, Martayanam, of those who die, Amritam, eternity of life, he, certainly, Naha, our. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The good sages said, O grave Sutta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us. Purport. When we hear about the transcendental qualities and activities of the personality of Godhead, we may always remember what has been spoken by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita 4.9. His acts, even when he acts in human society, are all transcendental, for they are all accentuated by the spiritual energy of the Lord, which is distinguished from his material energy. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, such acts are called divyam. This means that he does not act or take his birth like an ordinary living being under the custody of material energy, nor is his body material or changeable like that of ordinary living beings. And one who understands this fact, either from the Lord or from authorized sources, is not reborn after leaving the present material body. Such an enlightened soul is admitted into the spiritual realm of the Lord and engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, the more we hear about the transcendental activities of the Lord, as they are stated in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the more we can know about his transcendental nature and thus make definite progress on the path back to Godhead. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Translation once again. The good sages said, O grave Sutta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us. Very beautiful verse from this 18th chapter, where we can see many important words and important instruction by Srila Prabhupada. The first word that came to my mind was Martyanam, of those who die. Bhagavad Gita has taught us that material world is a place of death. That's why Krishna says those who are born, they're sure to die. So if you're born in this material world, we are sure to die. But Amritam, nectar. Nectar is something, what is nectar? Krishna Katha. Nectar can help one to counteract death. So where Srila Prabhupada says it gives eternal life. So just by hearing Krishna Katha, hearing about the activities, the pastimes of Lord Krishna, one can counteract death. And this narration about Krishna is just like Amritam. This is what the great good sages are saying. They are addressing Sutta Goswami and telling him that your narration is like nectar, amritam. It's like we are drinking nectar. And Prabhupada says, drinking this nectar through the ears, it guarantees eternal life for anyone who hears it. So description is given that the sages are hearing from Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami is speaking so nicely that they are perceiving Krishna Katha as very pleasing to their ears. This is what is stated. Srila Prabhupada is explaining very nicely. So because it is nectar, it guarantees eternal life. So they are addressing Sutta Goswami. You know, this says Rishaya Uchuhu, that means the good sages said. So they are addressing Sutta Goswami. You may live many years. You know, when someone, supposing I call someone and that person says, oh, I was thinking of you, may you live 100 years. I'm like, hold on. Don't give such blessings. No one wants to be in the material world. You know, it's a saying, especially in India, oh, I was thinking about you, may you live 100 years. But here we see that this material world is place of death. But here, the sages are blessing Sutta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame. Why? Because your activities are glorious. What is the activity Sutta Goswami is doing? He is narrating Krishna Katha. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came 500 years ago, he stressed so much on preaching, giving this knowledge to others, speaking this Krishna Katha to others so that others can hear it, hear this Amritam and get eternal life. So just by speaking about Krishna, Sutta Goswami is giving an opportunity, giving opportunity for everyone, not just the sages, but also us, so that we can hear this nectarian Krishna Katha. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? It's Amritam. It's about Krishna and his pure devotees. So here sages are blessing Sutta Goswami to live longer. Why? Because if one can engage in Krishna Katha, then one can conquer death. Otherwise, it's impossible. Why did Srila Prabhupada take so much trouble to give us his valuable books, all the instructions in his books? Because it can help us conquer death. Srila Prabhupada mentions, he gives a reference to Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma cha me divya, evam yo veti tar, tyaktva deham punarjanma, naiti mameti so Arjuna. What does Krishna tell Arjuna? That one who knows the transcendental nature, not just any, it is divyam, janma karma chame, divyam, it is transcendental. So one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Here's the guarantee. Krishna Katha can give us eternal life, just hearing Krishna Katha. So we can hear, we can read, but we can understand only by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Krishna Katha is Amritam. The more we hear, the more nectar we get. This is the knowledge we are getting from Krishna, which is a perfect source. And Srila Prabhupada is coming down in strict disciplic succession and he is guiding us. So just hearing is not sufficient, you know. Just like, you know, many devotees, they come to the temple for years and years and decades, just coming. That is good, but it's not good enough. It's not sufficient. So just hearing is not sufficient. We need to put this knowledge into practice. There has to be application. And what is the practicals that we need to include is chanting, hearing, association of devotees, going to the temple, serving in the temple, following the 4 regulative principles. These are the practicals that can help us to realize Krishna. And Prabhupada says that when our sadhana is strong, then our faith will become very firm. And that becomes easy when we associate with devotees. It is said, association of devotees can put us in fast gear. How many of us like to drive fast? Zoom, 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 zoom. Many times when I'm driving, I see someone is zooming, 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 and then meeting me at the traffic signal. What was the need to zoom, zoom, zoom when you're right in front of me? Why break the traffic rules? So we are always, want to rush, go in the fast gear, everything fast, 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 because we have so many things to do during the day. I have to do this and that and that. So we are rushing, rushing, rushing. So if we are so passionate about living life in fast gear, why not do that in Krishna consciousness? Why not do that in spiritual life, right? If we are, having that urgency to reach somewhere, why not have that urgency to go back to Goloka Vrindavan? Whenever I see them zooming, 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 the first thought comes to my mind is, I wish you could zoom like that for spiritual world, like, okay, I need to do this and that and that and that, so that I can put myself in fast gear. And then the other way also is true that, say for instance, I am traveling by train. I'm going from point A to point B in the train. Now, train is going fast. It's in the fast gear. But I decide I want to go faster. So I start running inside the train. Will I reach faster? I'm running inside the train. The train is only going to go at a certain speed. It doesn't matter if I'm running fast, fast, fast inside the train. We have to balance it out. We have to be very careful. And that is why we need guidance from a spiritual master. So there has to be an urgency to get eternal life. Yes, we are spirit souls, we are eternal, but we don't want to come back into this material body again and again and again. Not waste this human form of life, or take this life very casually. Srila Prabhupada says, bhakti is not casual. It is an austerity. It's not easy to wake up early in the morning. It's not easy to, wake up in Brahma Muhurat and chant and worship the deities and read. And it is an austerity, but it is for our own good. Don't children perform austerities? They have to also go to school at a certain time. They have to do their homework, their projects, all that is austerity. So why not perform austerity for spiritual life? In the Bhagavad Gita, we have read in 17th chapter about austerities, how important it is to be austere. Krishna tells Arjuna about austerity of the mind, austerity of the body, austerity of the speech. What is the austerity of the mind? It is satisfaction. Be satisfied with whatever we have. There is no need to, over endeavor to try to satisfy our senses, because they can never be satisfied. Have you heard about that analogy that there is a bucket and we are trying to fill that bucket with water, but there is a hole in the bucket? So what is happening? The water is draining out. The more water we put, the more is draining out, which means we cannot fill up the bucket. That is the position of the senses. No matter how much we try to satisfy them, they will never be satisfied because there is a hole in the bucket. That is ignorance. So the austerity of the mind is satisfaction, simplicity, simple living, high thinking. But in the material world, high living, simply thinking, which means not thinking at all. That's not the purpose of human form of life. Then there's gravity, self-control, purification. All these are austerities of the mind. What about the body? Austerity of the body is to worship the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, to worship the spiritual master, to worship the superiors. Who are the superiors? The parents, the grandparents, the elders, the senior devotees. We worship them. That doesn't mean that we take a bell and we take an incense and we do ting, ting, ting and offer. No, worship means follow their instructions. Be respectful to them. That's the austerity. Of course, austerity of body is also cleanliness. We need to be clean inside out. Out, of course, we use, the soap or whatever is called, we use to clean our body. But inside, cleanliness is possible through chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And another austerity of the body is celibacy. What about austerity of speech? We love to talk. I was listening to a lecture, I don't know who said that women speak 25,000 words in a day. That's a lot. And men, they speak 10,000 words a day. Speech, control, austerity. What is the austerity of speech? Is one should be truthful always. And while being truthful, one should be very pleasing in the speech, which means one should speak in such a pleasant way that we do not agitate the minds of others. And whatever we speak, the truth should be beneficial. Recite the Vedic scriptures, chant. All these are austerities of speech. So it is, of course, now is a very auspicious month that we have entered into, which is Kartik, also known as Damodar month, where we get the benefit is 1,000 times. So let us practice some austerity, especially in this month, and get used to it so that we can continue practicing austerity of body, mind, and speech. So we see here the sages, they are appreciating the opportunity to hear about Krishna, the Supreme Lord. They are hearing about Krishna's name, his form, his pastimes, his qualities. And hearing about the Lord will help us to get attracted to him and attached to him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see so many glorious activities of not only Krishna, but also his devotees. We hear so many pastimes of the Lord, which are divyam, transcendental. For instance, Narad Muni is instructing Vyasadeva in first canto. Narad Muni is instructing Prachetas in sixth canto. Prahlad Maharaj to Kayadu in seventh canto. Brahma to Priyavrata in fifth canto. Lord Shiva to Parvati in fourth canto. Kapila Muni, he is instructing his mother Devahuti in third canto. So we see so many Krishna kathas going on. Bhishma to Yudhishthir, Bali Maharaj to Shukracharya, Shukadev Swami to Parikshit Maharaj. We also hear Yamaraj instructing the Yamaduta. So Bhagavatam is full of Amritam, nectar. It's such a powerful literature that has been given to us by Srila Vyasadeva, who's none other than Krishna. So to read Srimad Bhagavatam or to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we also need to understand it. So to understand even Krishna, we need to hear from bona fide authority. Not go by what I feel, what I think, no speculation, and not depend on our emotions. No, we need to rise above all this. We need to hear from authority. Perfect knowledge comes from perfect source. And the perfect source is the Supreme Lord himself, Krishna. Krishna spoke it to Brahma. Brahma spoke it to Narada. Narada spoke it to Vyasa. And this is how it has come down to Srila Prabhupada. And that is why we read Srila Prabhupada's books. We read his purports, his translations, because that is how it can help us not only to hear Krishna Katha, but to understand it also. Now, in the purport to this today's verse, Srila Prabhupada talks about two energies of Krishna, material energy and spiritual energy. Now, Krishna, his activities are always under spiritual energy, which is pure, it is free from modes of material nature, it is free from bondage, everything. But conditioned souls, their activities are under material energy, and that is why there is cause of bondage. There is contamination because of the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So we see that there is a big difference between these two energies, even though they are Krishna's energies. He acts under spiritual energy, and we living entities act under material energy. That is why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam, that my activities, my pastimes, they are all divyam, they are transcendental, they're on that platform. So in that verse also we see Krishna says, I do not take birth. He appears. He doesn't take birth like we do. He appears. We take birth in the material world in a material body. We come with our mind, ego, senses. We are completely covered. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the embodied soul continuously passes. Embodied, we are caged inside the body. We are spirit souls, but inside the material body with material coverings, and we are constantly changing. I do not look like the way I looked when I was 5 years old or 10 years old or 20 years old. My body has changed. Bhagavad Gita teaches us the 6 changes that the body goes through, right? It takes birth, it remains for a while, it grows, it produces byproducts like children, it starts dwindling like old age, and then it vanishes, which means that is death. So we are changing, right? Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na mohyati. So we understand body is changing, but we can break this cycle of birth and death by hearing Krishna Katha, by hearing the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna. So if Krishna says, if one understands his appearance and his transcendental activities, then there will be no more birth. That means that soul, spirit soul, will take spiritual body and go back to the spiritual world. No more birth, going back to Godhead. So Krishna Katha, according to this verse, is Amritam. Amritam means it is transcendental, it is nectar. Amrit actually means nectar. Now, if one follows the simple process given by Srila Prabhupada, simple process of Krishna consciousness, then one can prepare to break the cycle of birth and death. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyachat ante kalevaram tam tam eveti kantaya sadat adbhava bhavitaha. That whatever state of mind we are at the time of death, to that state we will attain without fail. Krishna is giving a guarantee, without fail. One will attain that state without fail. So whatever we are thinking, and we will think whatever is at the time of death based on what we have been doing throughout our life. So if throughout our life we somehow or the other, follow this process of mantra meditation, which is chanting the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then at the time of death, we will remember Krishna and go back to the spiritual world. So the time of death is actually our final examination. And to be able to pass that final examination, we need to practice throughout our life. Purify our consciousness, purify our mind, our senses, our intelligence. And all this is possible when we follow the simple process of Krishna consciousness given to us by Srila Prabhupada. Then, when we follow the process, we'll start becoming conscious of Krishna, and that will lead to Krishna becoming conscious of us. That is the process of Krishna consciousness given by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, what is the difficulty? Where is the difficulty? Is it that difficult? No. And by the mercy of Krishna and Srimati Radharani, we get special bonus, which is, since yesterday, we started the month of Kartik. That's a bonus. It's the holiest of all months. Out of all the 12 months, this month is the holiest because it's very pleasing to Srimati Radharani. And this month can be utilized to progress spiritually. Why? Because in this month, according to Padma Puran, which is stating the conversation between Narad Muni and Shaunaka Rishi about the glories of this month of Kartik, that anyone who performs any devotional service, during this month, the benefit is 1,000 times. For instance, if I chant once, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, it is equal to chanting 1,000 times. Now, that doesn't mean we should not chant our 16 rounds every day. We should not calculate like that. But the point is that this is such a glorious month that we are able to attain pious credit 1,000 times. You see, right now, we are in this material body, we are alive, and we are able to participate in the month of Kartik this year. Is there a guarantee we will be there for next Kartik? Does anyone have any guarantee? We don't know. So why not take full advantage of this month? You see, this is what Padma Purana is talking about. Offering a ghee lamp to the Lord in this month can destroy sins of many lifetimes. There's no one in this material world who can say they have never sinned, right? So we have a baggage full of sinful activities from many past lifetimes. But just by offering a ghee lamp in this month, we can destroy all those sins. It is said in the Padma Puran that this month, worshipping in this month, is equal to performing all kinds of sacrifices, bathing in all the holy rivers, and also visiting all the holy places and attaining the spiritual world. What more do we want? Of course, this month also gives us an opportunity to take up some vow, so that we can progress spiritually. Some devotees, they eat only once. Some eat only fruits. Some give up something that they love to eat. You see, say, supposing I love to eat bananas, which I don't, but if I love bananas, let me sacrifice and not eat something that is very dear to me. That is an austerity. So we perform some sort of austerity, wake up early in the morning, chant in front of Tulasi Maharani, read the books, read Krishna Katha, associate with devotees, serve, do some service in the temple, meditate on the Lord in the form of Damodara, you see, and bind him up in our hearts with love. So all these different vows can help us to progress spiritually. You see, in the process of performing those austerities, Krishna is looking for our intention. What is our intention while performing these austerities? When he sees that it is sincerity, seriousness, love for him, craving for him, then he will come running to us. The purpose is to utilize, to focus, completely on Srila Prabhupada is saying, fully on Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Chant more, read more, associate more, serve more. You see, when we do all this with sincerity and seriousness, then we will see that there will be purification, purification of mind, senses, intelligence. See, all this will help us to progress spiritually. Now, one thing that can really help us, mostly people say, when we ask them, you please chant, they say, we don't have time. That's the most commonly used excuse. No time. Sorry. For kids, we have too much schoolwork to do, projects to do. Adults, oh, we have so much work in the office, so much work at home, this, that, so many excuses because lack of time. But there is one way we can find time by sacrificing social media. If somehow or the other we can reduce our time that we spend on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be. See, if we can reduce our time that we spend on social media, we can find time to become more spiritually enlivened, to spend more time on spiritual activities. So this month of Kartik, it belongs to Srimati Radharani, and any spiritual activity done in this month is very pleasing to her. In fact, when we offer ghee lamp every day in this month, we sing Damodar Ashtakam. This Damodar Ashtakam is the prayer given to us by Satyavrata Muni. It's mentioned in Padma Puran. And what is he trying to, explain in the prayer? The beautiful pastime of Lord Krishna. So if our mind is absorbed in these pastimes, in not only the pastimes, but beauty, the form of Krishna, then everything else will look stale for us, because Krishna is the most attractive. So if we focus on remembering Krishna, if we can somehow or the other also perform another austerity, which is renounce excessive eating and sleeping. Try to renounce excessive, anything that we do in excess. So if we can take advantage of this special month, increase our devotional service and please Lord Krishna, then we'll get full benefit of this month. It's just a matter of going deeper into understanding the ultimate purpose of human form of life, which is not just eat, sleep, and be merry. No, the purpose of human life is to become self-realized. You see? So I will end here and read the translation once again. The good sages said, O grave Sutta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us. I'll end here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, very nice lecture. There's so much that we picked up from it. I'm sure the devotees have some takeaways, and if you do, please unmute and talk about it so that we can all have some more reinforcement of the things that have been said already, and also, we'll strike up a wonderful conversation. Krishna Katha, as Mother Gita said, Krishna Katha is very, very important. Now, in the meantime, while the devotees are thinking of what to bring up or express, Mataji, you quoted quite a few times in this lecture from Padma Purana. And the more you're talking about Padma Purana, I kept telling myself, I have to read Padma Purana. I have to read Padma Purana. So I have a question about it. Is it translated to English? And where can I find that?
I just repeated what I heard. So,
okay.
Yes, I heard that, this Damodar Ashtakam is mentioned in Padma Purana. It's a conversation between Narad Muni and Shaunaka Rishi. So, yes. So probably if you Google it, you might find it.
Find out, yeah. And one more thing about Padma Purana, this is from Srila Prabhupada's lecture. she talked about the different types of physical bodies that the soul can enter. 8,400,000 types. And it says the list is there in Padma Purana. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know that I want to go through all 8 million times of 8,400,000 types of body. But then it brought vividly to mind, this is one of the Puranas that's quite important. I need to find out about it. So yeah, I will try to search for it or ask some senior devotees too that I know quite scholarly. So we'll find it out. I thought you would know, but anyway. So devotee Hare Krishna, please unmute and let's talk. Dear Krishna Prabhu has raised his hand. Please, Prabhu, go ahead. Hare Krishna, unmute yourself. Dear Krishna Prabhu, can you unmute yourself and start? Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Please accept my humble obeisances. All
Okay.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. As always, such a beautiful class. I really like that point, the way you mentioned that by following all the practices that has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada, we have to become Krishna conscious and then become Krishna conscious in a way that Krishna can also be conscious of us. So that was really, really beautiful. And just wanted to share when I was listening to you, the examples you were giving about the train and how people in this world are so much in rush that they are going nowhere. So just a funny incident that happened to me when I was in the college. After college, I was in Pune in India, very nice city, and I had to go to Mumbai for an interview. So after interview, I was at the railway station, and just realized that I'm walking and almost running very fast on the station. And then although interview was over, I had no rush. I had to just go back, home. And then I realized because everybody on the train station is running so fast, so I was just following the crowd blindly. I got that energy. So that was a good reminder that similarly, instead of being in the mad rush of this world, if we can be with devotees who have this urgency in spiritual life, I think even if I don't want to do it, probably that will carry me forward, blindly with them. So thank you for reminding me that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, that's why they say follow the pure devotees. If they are running towards Krishna, if we follow them, we'll also start running.
Hare Krishna.
Hare,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandava Pranams. Please
Right.
accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. So what Rishi said to Sutta Goswami, it also applies to you, Mataji, because you are talking about Krishna and the nectar of Krishna. So
Hare
we get the same benefit. Thank you, Mataji. And, we hear all the times Krishna's activities and everything is transcendental and ours are material. So what exactly, how do you define transcendental and material?
So the first point is that material, it has a beginning and an end. Whereas Divyam transcendental, there is no end. It is eternal. That is the difference. So transcendental Divyam is eternal, whereas material has an end. Just like this material body has a beginning and it has an end. So that is the main difference. And of course, activities of the Lord are transcendental because that is a Supreme Lord. Our activities, Srila Prabhupada explains, our activities in the material world are like comparing it to, say, I have a daughter and she likes to cook. So I'm cooking in the real kitchen, but I give her a small kitchen set to sit in her room and, pretend to be cooking or cleaning or whatever with that small toy kitchen set, you see? So that is the difference. But here Srila Prabhupada explains that Krishna's activities, they are real, they are eternal, and they're never ending. They're going on eternally, whereas our activities are temporary. Does that make sense?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for a very, very nice question and a very nice answer here. Noted that transcendental has no end, material is temporary. It does have an end. So material activities obviously don't compare at all to transcendental. And Krishna has said, and Mother Gita has repeated so many times from Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chamedi evam yovetitatpata. So then if we understand, Srila Prabhupada has tried in so many ways, in so many moods to tell us that when we understand that Krishna's births and activities are transcendental, they're not based on karma, then it means we understand Krishna for who he is, and Krishna is absolute. Therefore, he himself and his activities are all activities as Krishna. And so we get to, with that understanding, join Krishna because we'll be excited about the activities of Krishna. And that way, then we are moving closer and closer to. If you're excited about someone, you're going to want to be with them. So if you're excited about Krishna, you're going to want to be with Krishna. And Krishna is the kindest personality. You'll say, absolutely, come. Come. So anyway, yeah, this is wonderful. Just getting more and more excited. Leela Krishna Prabhu, you raise your hands, please unmute
Yes.
and please join.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. It's going to be a little difficult question. So, as you mentioned, Mataji, and I was reading last night and this month, and all the things like Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bharam, whatever the stage, we remember the Krishna, we will directly go back to his place and come out of birth and death. And in the similar note, and this month, and I was reading few Tulsi Mahatma, there are different articles, and I mentioned there are, if one will give, this is some of the comments, and I want your observation, Mataji. So, in other sense also, as you mentioned about other Padma Purans also, Tulsi, if we offer water in this month to the Tulsi plant, we will come out of birth and death. And if we read Bhagavad Gita daily this month, we will come out of birth and death. If we do the sincere attentive chanting and extra chanting, we will come out birth of death. And offering the flower, fruits, or any prasadam to the Lord, we will come out of death. And if we offer tulsi to the lotus feet of Krishna, we will come out of death. And at the end, if we give the deepam also, we will come out of birth and death. So Krishna is giving so many opportunity to come out of birth and death. So now we are doing all of them, right? Most of the devotee, they are doing everything. So can I assume that is a guarantee that I'm not going to take the birth again?
A very good question. So you are right. We are getting so many different opportunities, just like when we go to the grocery store, if I want to buy cheese, there are so many different options, different brands, different kinds of cheese, because depending on the demand, there are some who like particular kind of cheese, another person likes another, so there are different options given. Similarly, the Lord is also giving us so many options. Some like to read, some like to offer ghee lamp, some like to worship Tulasi. So all these options are there. The only purpose is so that we can increase our devotion for Krishna. You see? So main thing is that we perform devotional service, but don't look for the result. This is what we learned in chapter 3 and 5 of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says to even Arjuna, don't look for the results, just fight, because I'm asking you to fight. It's my will. So when Krishna has given us these instructions especially about this month of Kartik, where we can perform all these different aspects of devotional service and increase our bhakti for him. So we perform these activities with full sincerity and seriousness. Now, there has to be devotion also. It's not that, okay, I'm offering ghee lamp, ting, 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 but my mind is somewhere else. No, there has to be complete surrender, following the instructions, following Srila Prabhupada. When we do in that consciousness, then Krishna guarantees that he will take us back to heaven. I had once asked this question to my spiritual master that, okay, if I'm going to follow, all these, this whole process of devotional service throughout my life, but what if I forget Krishna at the time of death? There's no guarantee. So he said, Krishna will make sure that you remember him at the time of death. That is Krishna's job. So we perform our devotional service with full sincerity and seriousness, full devotion, no emotion, no emotion in the sense, no speculation, and then leave the result to Krishna. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Thank you, Mataji. No, definitely. Our as a devotee, our intention is not like we don't want any liberation. We want like na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadishva kamaya. So our intention is the same. It doesn't matter what condition he will put, but always as because we are in the attached to the material things, which I am, right? We are in the Maya and always thinking that this month is one of the best months. I'm not sure that I'm going to get this month again next year. So when I'm doing sincerely, I'm thinking that, okay, this is the month I'm going to do the best so that if I leave my body also, I should not come. Still, I'm not thinking of the liberation, but I'm thinking that I should give my best, right? So this is, we are aware of our activities and what we are performing. At the same time, yesterday I was reading something and one story came in there. Just again, observation is Agyata Sukriti, right? Where we are doing this activity also without knowing that what I'm doing. So if someone will accidentally reach to the temple and eat the prasad in this month also, he will go back to Godhead. His intention was not going to the temple. He somehow is make of Krishna's arrangement, he went there. And somewhere the Sankirtan is going on, his intention was not there, and he listening katha, he will also go back to the Godhead. So you are saying that Agyata Sukriti is making so heavily, when Agyata Sukriti will give that much of benefit, and we are doing our activity with knowing that we want to serve, I'm thinking that guarantee I am going back now. That's the mentality, right, Mataji? That's my observation when we are keep on reading as much of reading in this month, as much of service we can perform. So that's my thought is Mataji.
Yes, you're right. But the thing is, say you mentioned someone just walks into the temple and eats prasads and go back to Godhead. That is not just that one activity that will take him back to Godhead. He must have had that previous pious credit with him, you know,
Possible.
to get that opportunity to do that. And it is all decided by Krishna based on our intentions, based on our surrender. So that is also there. If that was the case, then all those who are eating prasadam in the temple will go back to Godhead, right? Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
Hare
Parikshit.
Krishna. All right, Krishna. No, we said they all go back to God after 400 years. They all go back to God. Just expressing what you were saying. But yeah, so the points you made are very, very nice. So many opportunities are given by Krishna. If you don't mind, Mata, just add one more thing to it, one more exception to it. The opportunities are given to go back to Krishna, but don't commit Vaishnav aparad because the entirety will come tumbling down. That you don't do. Hare Krishna. That's all I wanted to add on to.
Yeah, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says our devotional life will be crushed if we perform, offend a Vaishnava. Yes.
Yeah.
It could be offending even in mind, not just by words or actions, even in mind. Even if we think wrong of another Vaishnava, that is also an offense. So.
Like my mentions, don't
Thank you.
get to
Thank you,
that. I
Mataji.
know
I have to
there's
drop now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your association, albeit electronic, but it's still association. Hare Krishna. So, anyway, I need to go on. I don't want it because you're the one that's on the spotlight for this wonderful lecture that you're giving. So, devotees, you have more questions, you have more suggestions that come to mind, takeaways, please unmute and go on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. So, Gosha Prabhupada, thank you for a wonderful class, Mother. I wanted to just piggyback on the last question by Leela Krishna Prabhu, just for clarification or understanding, Mother. Even though we perform all the opportunities in the month of Kartik or Purushottamas or what have, any of the holy months, the more we do that, I'm just trying to put the words in my mind here. We offer Tulsi, go back to Godhead. We offer water, go back to Godhead. All that stuff. But what I'm thinking, Mother, and help me to know if I'm thinking correctly, is that the more we do that devotional action, that service of devotional, I mean, the action of devotional service, does it help over a period of time to purify us even further to be qualified to go back to Godhead? It's just not a one-time thing.
That is true. That was the point I wanted to make, but I forgot that this month is like a practice ground for us, where we start increasing our spiritual activities so that the remaining 11 months we continue. Say, for instance, those who don't wake up early in the morning, they take a vow to wake up early in the morning. So this whole month they'll get used to it, and then it'll become a habit, and then they will be able to continue. That is the whole purpose. It's not that we should only perform devotional service in Kartik month or Purushottam month. No, it has to be every day, every day. But this is an opportunity, just like we, at least in India, when I was working, we used to get a whole month's salary as a bonus during Diwali, the whole month's paycheck for Diwali on Diwali day. So that is a bonus. And that is something that motivates the employees, to work harder. So here, this month is a bonus for us so that we can work harder and continue to work harder. And not just, Kartik is over on 26th November and that's it. No.
And then go back to being the old self.
Yes.
So now it's clear, because the goal of such instructions by Krishna is to make sure that we continue to do it. It's not, okay, I've ordered, I poured water on Tulsi, so tomorrow I go back to Godhead. It's a continuous to help us. And actually, Mother, as you were speaking, I was remembering Srila Prabhupada's instructions to Bhakti Swami, where he told him, you have come here so many lifetimes, at least this life, give it to Krishna. Meaning, so to me, it means you've perfected each day so that when the last minute of our life comes, we have made ourselves okay. Thank you, Mother, for clarifying my thought.
Just like they say, an apple a day keeps doctor away, doesn't mean I eat apple one day and then I'll never see a doctor before. We don't take it literally, right? So it involves everything else also, like eat right, sleep right, follow certain, rules and regulations to keep the body healthy. Then that apple a day will help us not to go to the doctor, right? So we don't just take it literally, okay, pour water one time and you go back to Godhead. No, it doesn't work like that. It just gives a boost to our spiritual lives.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you. And there's a question in the chat by Dear Krishna where he says, Hare Krishna, more about making Krishna conscious of us, how to make that happen quicker. What more can we do in addition to chanting and following regulations? Really getting greedy. He's getting greedy, Mother. It's Karthik.
Srila Prabhupada says it's okay to be greedy spiritually.
Exactly.
Okay, yes. There should be that lolium greed should be there. How to make that happen quicker? I would say from experience, association of devotees, and especially those devotees who are really dedicated to Krishna and the Guru, those devotees who are strictly, following strong sadhana. So when we associate with them, and association doesn't mean just say Hare Krishna to them, or give them a hug or something. No, association means have a conversation, clear the doubts, like ask questions and discuss pastimes of Lord Krishna. So when we do that association, and Prabhupada says, if somehow or the other we can chant attentively, that is the key, because the whole process starts working from chanting attentively. I was listening to a class by Janardhan Maharaj 2-3 days ago, and he was saying that when we are chanting, for instance, when I chant, I keep Prabhupada's japa on so that, I can hear him also and I can hear myself. So he was saying that the moment we do not hear others chanting, like for instance, me, when I'm chanting, if I'm not conscious of Prabhupada's chanting also, that means I'm not chanting attentively, which means I am either sleeping or my mind is somewhere else, it's not on chanting. And he also said inattentive chanting leads to chanting incorrectly, which means adding an extra word like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. That is not the Maha Mantra, you see. But when the attention is not there during chanting, we can chant incorrectly. So attentive chanting will help us to make our sadhana strong, and association of those who have strong sadhana can help us to become conscious of Krishna more and more. Am I making Srila Prabhupada chant for me when I'm sleeping? Oh.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. And that brings me to another point that I'd like Mataji to have you make the comment on it. When you talked about the word is chanting and then they add one more word, even though it's part of the mantra, but it's not in that way it's supposed to be said, and you add to it. There are quite a few devotees who do the opposite. That is, we don't chant the whole mantra. I've heard some people this one of the words is missing when they chant it. What comment can you make about that? And if there's advice to, I would definitely appreciate that from you also. Hare Krishna.
Well, what can I say? It will have effect, but it is considered an offense if either you add words or you remove words. You don't chant the mantra correctly, Maha Mantra correctly, because there is no attention. You see, it's not attentive chanting. And when we read the 10 offenses, the 11th offense is inattentive chanting.
Wow, chanting.
So we are committing an offense. So when we commit an offense towards the holy name, then we have to face reactions. Right?
Thank you very much for making that point. It's very, very important. Yeah. And I've heard the words sometimes they miss a word because they're going through the mantra very fast.
Yes.
And that, yeah. So that's offensive. It's not even considered namabhas then.
It is an offense, yes. It is.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, dear devotees, if you have some more, we're past the hour, 9 o'clock hour, but this is wonderful discussion. We're learning as we ask questions and from the chat and so on. If you have any more, anybody has any more questions?
I just would like to thank Mother Gita for this amazing verse because it's so opportune for the month of Kartik. It just fits right in. And I was thinking, whoa, as I was reading the verse, I said, oh my God, this is like perfect for Kartik, hearing the glories of the Lord and his devotees and hearing and hearing and hearing and reading. So I really want to thank you, Mother, for really addressing this amazing point and reminding us how it's so important to hear and read and hear, really keep hearing the glory. So thank you, Mother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All right. So if there any more last comments? Okay. So I didn't hear anything. I haven't seen anything in the chat, and I haven't seen a hand electronically raised. So thank you, Mataji, for such a wonderful class. And we hope that you come bless us with more ideas. And of course, devotees, please, as we've been told 1,000 times, you get credit for everything that you do in this particular month. And it will also make us, get the habit. It actually said in Material Life that if you do something for 3 weeks, 21 days, it becomes a habit and you keep doing it. So if we take a vrat and then we keep going on with that, then we will most likely stay with it and it will improve our Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you again, Mother. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Bol.
Hare
Have a nice,
Krishna.
have a nice rest of your week. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.